It's Antroxu season in Asturias, and that's the time of year when I know that winter is coming to a close and spring is on its way. For me, it's kind of the time of year where it's a great reminder for me to get some big things done, things like taxes and your annual doctor's visit, at least mine, and start preparing the garden for spring. Even though all of that is a lot of work, it's one of my favorite times of year here in Asturias. And that's because one, the days are starting to get longer. It's also not very crowded, so I can get out and about and see things that I like to see here in Asturias because most of the sites that I really enjoy get really, really busy during the rest of the year. And that's how I ended up at Santuario de la Virgen de la Cueva. I've tried several times to visit the sanctuary, but I've always been unable to find parking, but not this time. Legend says that it originated between the 10th and the 11th century, and there's actually a lore about this cave. I've linked the story in the video description. To enter the cave, you cross this bridge to see the chapel literally embedded in the cliff. The sanctuary is a combination of a natural cave with masonry chapels and a main altar under the overhanging rock. It actually feels like a shrine. I can only imagine what it would be like to hear a church choir singing praise here. From what I've been able to gather, some of the audience for the services actually sit up here. I wish that I'd prepared a picnic, given that there's a beautiful meadow here and you have these riverside views. Apparently there is a kid's song all about this cave. Please, somebody tell me if this is true. I can only imagine how busy this area gets during the Feast of the Virgin on September 8th and the Festival de la Galiana at the start of October. Based on my videos, you probably think that I don't spend any time in Aviles. Last week, I had a lovely birthday celebration with family. We actually make our way to Aviles as much as possible so that we can spend time with family. I actually lived in Aviles for almost 3 years, but somehow I never managed to celebrate Antroxu here. That's even though my apartment was a 5-minute walk from the Ayuntamiento, which is where the Defenso Internacional y Fluvial de la Calle de Galiana ends. So I decided to see the descent down Calle Galiana. Roberto and I chose the end of the parade route because we thought the backdrop of the Palacio de Aviles would be really nice. It was a mistake though. Even though it was mid-February, it wasn't very cold out. I did wear waterproof shoes because of the foam, and I packed a pair of gloves just in case the weather got a little bit cold and then my hands started to freeze up. This year's theme was Las Mil y un Antroxu, un viaje por el desierto. The descent started around 6, so we expected to see the artilugios in our area about 6:30 or so. There are a multitude of foam cannons along the route to help the handmade floats slide down the descent more easily, especially since the floats aren't allowed to have engines or wheels. At the end of the parade route, they're actually judged based on their originality, the effort, and the staging. What slowed this descent were actually the kids. There was a lot of space left in between each float so the kids could enjoy the foam. I know if I were a kid, I would have had a blast in the foam. As a woman of my big age, I would have busted my butt. We actually thought we could stay till the end and see all of the floats, but it turns out that the spot that we'd chosen seemed to get really, really cold. It was really hard to stay in the spot that we were in. Even dressing extra warm, it wasn't enough for us. What baffled me the most was that the kids, who were soaked in foam, seemed completely unaffected by the temperature. I get it, they all made a running start to slide down the street, but it was still cold. around 9 o'clock, we called it quits. We didn't get to see the winning float, so I'll insert some footage for you. The last float that we actually saw won third prize. I've linked the winners list in the video description. Tell me in the comments what you'd like to see next, and subscribe so you can see what I have up my sleeve. I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.